All right, Pops, we've been talking about this for what feels like a year now. It's not the greatest time to buy a car. However, sometimes you need to buy a car, and if you're going to, you can actually still do a good job in today's market. We have a success story from the YAA community from Matt Grabowski. Wanted to read this to you and get your reaction, okay?
Okay.
All right. I thought you were going to say something. This was posted just a few days ago on the community forum. 2022 Laramie, epic success. Thanks, yeah.
That's us.
This is a long post, but I just had to share it all. I'm sure I left something out, but it's already too long. Ha! First, I want to say thank you to the YAA team. I've been following your YouTube videos for the past several months, taking notes and following the advice given. The roleplay videos especially helped with my success. The other resources provided, such as the vehicle search with the days on the lot, were a huge card up my sleeve. So I had gone in a week ago, just showing some faint interest in what was there and what there was on the lot at a few dealerships, and just test drove a couple. Listening to Zach and Ray's daily reports and about how Stellantis was the only one that still had a chance of a deal, I went on the hunt. That's true, right? Stellantis still has inventory relative to their peers. I had spoken to some dealerships and did some research for backup vehicles when looking for a Ram Bighorn, but saw a V8 Hemi e-Torque Laramie ever so slightly higher in price, and it had been on the market for several months. I went to see it and checked in the door panel as suggested to verify the accuracy of the date. That's to see the VIN stamp, right? The build stamp.
Yes, the manufacturer's plate.
Which will say when the vehicle was actually produced.
The month and year it was produced.
So Thursday, I set an appointment with the sales agent I had been in contact with, and he scheduled me with a different person as he wasn't available.
Happens.
Jinx.
Thinking about getting an extended warranty? Go to joinyaa.com and check out our pricing there. There's no obligation, no spam, no robocalls. YAA for your extended warranty.
Yesterday, I showed up with my notes in hand and printed quotes for my trade-in from Carvana, Vroom, AutoNation, CarMax, and what Carfax recommended the trade should be. I showed up and another agent took me on despite the appointment since the current agent was busy.
Happens.
Already seemed off. He tried to show me a couple of different vehicles despite the one I told him about specifically with VIN and stock number before he wanted to have a sit down. He did the normal questions about budget and expenses and how I wanted to finance, but I brushed it off and asked several times for an out-the-door price. So with the vehicle at $57,000 MSRP, add-ons and tax, title, etc., the final out-the-door price was a little bit north of $73,000.
Bit much.
I looked at some notes, stuck to my guns, and refused to pay for the extra add-ons. He eventually came down to $70,000, but said how they were busy, and in this market, I'm fortunate he came down this much, and also refused to show the dealer invoice. From there, I told him I know how long the vehicle has been sitting, and the second vehicle he tried to sell me on was sitting longer. It was one of my backups. He didn't buy that I knew it, and wanted proof before he talked more, so I showed him the printout, and the look on his face was priceless. He went to talk to a manager and came down to $65,000. I stuck strong. I knew my comfort levels for my finance I had pre-approved. I emphasized this was a want, not a need, and I will gladly take my business elsewhere or just keep my current truck. We talked for a bit, but the deal fell apart. The sales agent walked off, and I left content. When I was at my truck, I paused for a minute and thought of going back to bring up the trade-in, but changed my mind and said, screw it. As I was in drive and literally about to pull away, I happened to glance over and the manager was waving at me, wanting to talk. Talk about perfect timing. I told him how the deal went, as well as my situation of want, not need. He did an inspection and test drive of the truck with me as we talked and brought me back into the building. We spoke for a bit and he brought the sales agent back with him as we worked a deal. The sales manager had to run a deal down with the general manager, but we made a deal after a few minutes. $21,000 for my trade-in. I owed $18,900, and they brought the truck down to, drum roll please, $58,000. F and I tried to work their magic, but I was able to get the SWAT that was added for $700 or $1 a month from the $1,700. And lo and behold, final price out the door, trade included, I was just under MSRP and a whopping $16,000 price cut. So I have to say thank you to all at YAA, especially Zach, Ray, and Miss Kimberly Klein. The advice on the videos helped immensely, and even though I've been a free member and am no longer in the hunt, I will gladly pay for a year's membership and get the extended warranty once it's available in California. It should be available in California in like a week or two. Well worth the value to give back some of what I saved. Thank you all for the knowledge to help me land this epic success.
That's pretty good.
What do you make of this, Dad?
Well, I make that applied knowledge is power. when you know the market day supply, when you know how many days a vehicle's been sitting on a lot, when you know that at a certain point the costs of having that vehicle sitting on the lot keep adding up for the dealership, and so they should be more motivated to get rid of it, you can use that information to your advantage. And that's what he did. You know, most dealerships are counting on the fact that you won't know that information, that the average customer has no idea how long a vehicle's been sitting. Most customers aren't going to push back. Here was a customer that was willing to push back and use the strongest tool of all, and that was to say no and walk away.
Yeah.
And, you know, the sales manager, God bless him, didn't want to lose a paying customer on an aged unit. I get it. I don't blame him for trying to make as much money as he possibly could, hoping this guy, you know, just crawled out from under a rock.
Yeah.
But he didn't. And the sales manager recognized that and realized that, you know, he wasn't going to make the extra $16,000 on this deal. But you got to remember, after Eric saved $16,000, the dealership, or Matt, the dealership still made a profit because otherwise they wouldn't have sold it. So it just gives you some idea as to how fat a deal they were looking for in the first place.
Yeah, it really does. And it also reminds me, Dad, when you negotiate anything, you kind of got to walk to the line. He went to his truck.
Yes.
He was leaving.
Yes.
You know, and if they didn't chase after him, great. The great thing about this is it was a want, not a need.
Yes.
And so for him, he could have just driven off. Like, he would have gone to the line. He would have crossed the line. He would have gone to the next dealership. That's fine.
Exactly.
Perfect example of when you're able to kind of line up the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to save tens of thousands of dollars.
Even in this market.
Even in this market.
Yes.
Just because a dealership's asking for something doesn't mean that they're going to get it. We had Alex send us that text message exchange with a dealership that had, I think, a $25,000 markup on a vehicle.
Stating specifically, by the way, that is negotiable.
Yeah, it's well, I'll find it so we can put it in the video. Literally, it's a text exchange with the salesperson. It's like, you can negotiate the market adjustment.
Yes.
You can negotiate the market adjustment.
It's like anything else. You can either accept it, reject it, or amend it. So just because a dealership is asking for something doesn't necessarily mean that they expect to get it all. They're just asking.
Yep.
You know, there's no harm in trying is the way they think.
Definitely.
And if most people go, well, I guess that's what it is, well, then it was good for them for trying.
If you're dead set on getting a Subaru right now, yeah, you're not going to save $16,000.
No.
If you're open-minded like Matt was, and you can look at Stellantis products, honestly, or Volvo,
Yes.
you know, you'll have a chance. You really, really will.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll link to Matt's story down in the description below. We'll also link to the California Extended Warranty, so you can, if you want to get a quote for that as well, click on the links. Give Matt some love. Go like the post.
Absolutely. I think you should give him the Ray Shefska stamp of approval.
Put it right in the middle.
Yeah. Boom!